I wanted to let you guys know some of the facts that are going on today. Today we're living in a world that nearly 1 in 5 boys will deal with some type of abuse by the age of 18. And dealing with sexual abuse, 1 in 25 boys will deal with sexual abuse as well. And unfortunately, for our young girls, it's even worse. 3 in 5 girls will deal with some type of abuse, and 1 in 7 will deal with sexual abuse before they age 18. Ladies, what that means is that statistically, that means just in this room alone, that there have been women, half of the women in this room have faced some type of abuse. And abuse does not mean just sexual. Abuse can be physical, can be mental, and emotional. But abuse affects your mind, your body, and unfortunately your soul. Think about this. Unchecked, this affects every one of us all the way to adulthood. Affecting our self-esteem, our relationships in general, our intimacy as adults. You know, we're affected by the consequences of unhealed trauma every single day. And this is why this affects everyone. And when people say that's something that doesn't deal with me, or that's not my problem, in reality, they're just not understanding the scope of this problem. Literally every 10 seconds, ladies, abuse is reported. So how many times has that happened since I've been here now? Child sexual abuse is likely to be the most prevalent health problem that children face, dealing with the most array of serious consequences, including death. They said this year, there will be about 400,000 babies that are going to be born that will be victims of sexual abuse if nothing is done to stop it. And when it comes to things like this, misconceptions are alive. And I wanted to take a moment to sort of break some of these misconceptions. One of the misconceptions is that rape is an adult issue. And unfortunately, the numbers don't agree. Nearly 70% of all reported sexual assaults are children 17 and under. Youth have a higher rate of sexual assaults than adults do. Actually, from 12 to 17, it's actually 2.3 times higher than adults. 44% of rapes with penetration occur in children under the age of 18. Victims younger than 12 account for 15% of those, and another 29% of those rape victims were between 12 and 17. Who are the perpetrators, right? Stranger danger. It's going to be the guy who looks weird, who's standing in the corner. But once again, the data doesn't support that. 90% of children actually know their abuser. Only 10% of sexual abuse is done by strangers. 30% of children are abused by family members. Sometimes people say, if it was my child, though, I would know. We have such a great relationship. But once again, the data doesn't support that. 2/3 of all cases are never even brought up. A child would never even reveal it. So that's why it's so imperative that we learn these signs early. And we invite you guys all, every one of you, to come to our mandatory reporting training. During our mandatory reporting training, what we'll be able to do is not only thoroughly go through the different types of abuse, but learn to recognize the signs. Sometimes when dealing with reporting, unfortunately, comes with a form of risk. It's risky to step up. It's risky to tell somebody that that's not the appropriate way. You should be holding or touching the child. Stepping out of the way to talk to a stranger about how they're handling situations. If you've witnessed something, somebody who's in your group, somebody who's in your church, somebody who's in your school PTA meetings, somebody that you've known, it takes risk. It takes risk to step up, to be an advocate, and to step in the gap for a child. And we understand with that risk, you need help. You need to be educated and understanding what actually the signs are, what is the appropriate way to step in, and more importantly, learn that you have support and that there are thousands upon thousands of people who are resting and waiting on you to be able to support you, and for you to be an advocate, to be able to step up for these children. Ladies, the reason I'm here today, the reason why I'm a proud advocate for these children is, even myself, I'm a person who experienced trauma as a child. I was born in Nairobi, Kenya. I'm from Uganda. And unfortunately, I was born with HIV. And as you guys know, in the early 90s, HIV was basically a death sentence and was completely viewed as taboo. By age 6 was the first time I was told that I was dealing with this. And my mom, she only did what she thought was right. And she told me that, guess what? You can never tell another person that you're dealing with this. Mm. And imagine the emotional trauma that a child would go through. Understanding that, why would this happen to me? Even me questioning God, like, why, God, why did this happen to me? Thinking that I was going to die. At that time, they told my mom, like, he probably won't even live until be 18. I was part of a study, actually, with about nearly 16 children. And by age 21, when I was called to actually ask about, how I was doing, I was the only living person in that study. The rest of those children are not here today.
Good Lord.
And by the grace of God, I'm here, and I live undetectable. I didn't believe I could have children. As a matter of fact, I feared it because of this. But because of education, because of support, because of people who loved me, I was able to find help, get health care, and I'm here today, and I fight for children who, and I feel that I can relate to that trauma and the feeling of shame that I can't tell this. For almost 30 years, I kept this a secret that I didn't tell anyone. And I'm glad that every time that I go speak for these children, every time that I tell this story, every time that I reveal what I have gone through, it's just another chance to let that little boy inside know that he's worth it. Every one of these children is worth it. And so definitely, all the work that you guys have done in the background, we can't thank you enough. It's your hard-earned money that's gonna go to truly making a difference in a child's life. Unfortunately, we need more people to do these things. And by doing things like this, more importantly, promoting things like this, hopefully we can spread the word, spread awareness, and make a difference. So thank you on behalf of the Children's Advocacy Center. Obviously, I'm still going to be here. Any questions you have for me about my organization, or even how you can help or volunteer, all those things are possible. So once again, thank you on behalf of the Children's Advocacy Center. Thank you.